Hello, Flosstube. Today is Saturday, April 20th, um, 2019. I usually do this in the morning, but it's afternoon. Today is my dad's birthday, so we had a family breakfast. My aunt is visiting this week, and so we went over to my younger sister's house and had a big breakfast, and she made an egg casserole kind of thing, and we had some bagels, and my brother-in-law's sister made a fruit casserole thing. It was really good. Berries, blackberries, blueberries, I don't know. It was really good. Um, and anyway, so we had breakfast over there. So uh, that's why this is a little bit later in the day. Um, and also I've been dealing with my cats have been since I got back from the retreat. Um, they were a little bit sick. Puck has been had a thing going on with his eye, watering uh and so last week I bit the bullet and took him to the vet, and and they had to give him some gas sedation. So because the one thing he can be very, very friendly to strangers, but he absolutely hates going to the vet. He turns into a screaming banshee at the vet. I have a weird shadow. Sorry, I have a weird shadow on my face from the light. It makes me look like I've got black across my face. Right across here. Anyway, and so I had, when I went in to put him in the carrier to take him to the vet, my other cat, Snug, who never throws up, had thrown up a little bit. And so I, cleaned that up, stuck Puck in the carrier, took him to the vet, which fortunately is just around the corner. But so when I got back, Snug was, had thrown up again. And all day long, he was kind of like every couple of hours, he was barfing up like bile, kind of, and so I didn't know what to, if I was going to have to take him to the vet also. And so I was very concerned about it. And so I kind of kept an eye on him for a day. And I was thinking I was going to have to take him to the vet. But then he seemed to get over it. And he had gone a whole day without eating anything, without drinking anything. And for Snug, that's really unusual because, he's a chunky boy. He eats all the time. So it was very weird for him to not eat or drink anything. But then after, he got through the day, and about 8 o'clock in the morning, he ate a little bit, drank some water, and he was fine after that. He was fine. So crisis averted. But it was very scary couple of days, there with the cats. That's cat ownership for you. Sometimes this shadow on my face is really bugging me. Sorry. Let me move this camera a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, so and after the retreat, I was very exhausted. I don't know if it was the combination of going to the retreat, walking around the hotel a lot or whatever. And I guess maybe I didn't feel it so much because I was excited or whatever. But then, like, coming down off of the high of the retreat for the next, couple of days, I slept a lot, and barely stitched anything at all. I would kind of try to stitch, and I was just really sleepy, and I would fall asleep and everything. So I didn't really get much done until the last couple of days. Like, what's today? Saturday, so maybe starting on Thursday, started to feel a little better, and sort of back to my routine. And part of it is too, I think also I had a little bit of a change in some medication that I'm taking, and I think that I'm still sorting that out a little bit. So anyway, it's just one of those things. You know. So one of the things I had mentioned in the version of my video that went into the ether. One of the things that I had mentioned was this little bunny that I had worked on. I had posted on Instagram, I guess, about this little bunny when it was in progress, but I finished it before the retreat. So yeah, and it's tomorrow is Easter. Happy Easter for those of you who celebrate. Uh, uh, my family is going to, my sister and I are going to church, where I go to church, and then my older sister and my parents are going to their church, and we're meeting for lunch after that. But anyway, so tomorrow's Easter, and and I was feeling a little springish, and so I worked on this little bunny. It's a little kit that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I probably, it comes with like this little plastic frame and everything, and I'll probably finish it some other way. I have a couple of these. I have some Christmas ornament kind of things, and excuse me, and this one. That I will probably finish in some other way other than this little plastic frame that it comes with, and I just haven't, maybe a little pillow, something like that, I don't know. The other ones, the Christmas ones, I might make into little flat ornaments or something, I don't know, to put on the tree or to decorate for Christmas or whatever. Oh, I'm still sporting the Stitch Nanigans purple fingernails. I'll probably wait till after Easter, and then they're getting kind of chippy, and growing out a little bit. You could tell from my up close from my cuticles, But yeah, manicure stuff and fingernail polish. That's not something that I ordinarily bother with, just because I used to do it, a little more often, and the professional manicure business, I haven't done in a while, in quite a while. But I'm keeping these till Easter, and then till tomorrow, and then I'll probably take them off, whatever. But anyway, so another thing I had worked on this at the retreat and a little bit afterward, but I think when I last time I showed this to you, I was not quite done with this side, so I finished this side, and then I started on the purple on this side. So yeah, one of these is the front and one is the back. So I worked on that a little bit after the retreat, and this is this is what it's gonna look like when it's finished. So I worked on this little border thing on both sides, the front and the back. And I had worked on Daily Walk in the Woods a little bit at the retreat. I was working on this little tree right here. I did the trunks of this tree and this tree, and I had started the outline. And there's a little octopus needle minder that I bought at the retreat. But I had done these three, the outline of these three leaves, and I just started on this one. So I've done these two and started one here, and then I think I have this one, and I think one here, and then one down here somewhere to go, and then I'll fill them in eventually, and then this tree someday. Someday I'll get to it. And then I have this little. I think I showed this before. I bought this thinking that I might work on it some at the retreat, but I didn't. But I'm gonna. I want to. I might use some of that wool that I got because it's a little bit. I guess you can strand it or something also, but it's a little bit uh, unusual and whatever. So I might use that. Um, I don't know. I don't have a design. This little booklet, it comes with some designs, um, but I don't like. I'm not really crazy about any of them, so I'll probably come up with my own design, um, something that I already have, or maybe I'll make something up. I don't know. But this is I thought it was kind of like a leatherette kind of thing, but it's paper. It's so you know, and it's a little on the holes are a little bit on the big side. Um, so I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that yet, but I unwrapped it and messed around with it. So, and then in my fancy little Nestle's Crunch, this is it's about the size of an ocean spout, but I've been using it uh, as a little project bag for this little project. Um, I have it somewhere. Oh, here. Um, this Squirrel's Night Out design. It's a little sort of a necklace thing. So, it's this little squirrel thing. And I'm almost finished with it. I have the rest of this tree, and there's a little crow that's done 1/1 over here, and then backstitching on the basket. And it was kind of fun. This little hill that he's standing on has these little, I guess they're supposed to be backstitched. It's funny because the instructions talk about the backstitching, like the 1/1 for the crow, and the little crow you can't really see in this picture very well, but his legs or feet or whatever, and then this basket, the handle for the basket, are backstitched like one strand of the black mascara color. But it didn't say anything about about the, you can't really see very well, but these little, what it is it's like these open squares, and then there's big X's across the squares. And I don't know if they're supposed to be backstitched with one thread. It didn't say anything. The stitching instructions, whatever that come with it, the pattern, that talked about, there's going to be, I haven't done it yet, but backstitch here, and the little 1/1 crow, and the backstitch on the crow's legs. Talks about, doing that with one thread, but these big X's here, it didn't talk about whether they were backstitched with one thread or done with two threads or whatever. So I just did them with two threads because I already had the thread on the needle from doing the X's, the little X's, regular X's. So I just did the big X's in these, these big squares. And I don't know what the I don't know, it's just a design thing or whatever, but it was, So, like I said, I just have the tree to finish, and there's just not much of it left. And then the little crow that sits right here, and then like I said, the handle to the basket, and this part, the stitching will be done, and then I'll just have to the design idea calls for some little black cording around the design. And I saw a tutorial recently about how to make cording out of like regular DMC, and I know that Vonna has a fancy little Krynic cording machine thing. You can use that, but the tutorial I saw about making cording was just used thread taped down to to the table or whatever, and wound with a pencil or something. So I'm going to look at that again to see how to make that, to make the cording that goes around this design. But, I'm a little concerned with whether or not the design is the right size. I thought I used 32 count fabric, but it has to fit on this little pendant thing, and I think it's gonna fit. It looks like it'll fit. Yeah. But it was kind of making me nervous that it was going to be too big or something. But I think you know, it'll be about the right size. Oh, it's very cute. I don't know if it's exactly the style that, to wear that I would wear, but I think it'll look really cute on on that little thing. And it comes with like a cord like, to that you would wear around your neck, whatever. But around the design itself is like I said, there's some little black cording that goes around here, and then uh, the instructions like talk about putting some like batting underneath it and mounting it on like a thin piece of thin cardboard, and then gluing it to the little wooden form that they provide. And then these are the Weeks Dye Works threads that it calls for, and I had went ahead and bought them when I made my trip to the attic during Stitch Shenanigans. And these are threads that I would use to stitch the little squirrel. So now I have a little collection because the squirrel is so tiny, and I have all of this thread left over because I used like on a couple of them I used like 2 pieces of thread, but it's so tiny I just use one length of it or whatever for a certain color. So and when I started this, actually, I did this whole little black hat. Didn't do the orange part yet, but the black hat, I started out and I was so proud of myself. I did such a good job and it was so wonderful. And I realized it was the wrong way. It was, and I had thought at first when I was, when I was starting that the fabric was square, but it's actually a little bit of a rectangle, and the design is rectangular. And when I started it this way, it was, too close to the bottom. I don't know if it would have even fit. And it would have been hard, there wouldn't have been a whole lot of fabric to like stretch over a piece of cardboard or whatever, to put on the back. So I plucked it all out and I redid it. But it was just a hat, fortunately. So, but yeah, so there's Squirrel's Night Out. He's really cute, little squirrel. But that is all I've done this week. Um, like I said, it took me a couple of days to sort of get out of that funk. I was really exhausted, and I'm still. It's very easy for me to get my sleep schedule kind of messed up because I don't have anywhere to go specifically, so I don't have like people have to well, for years I had to get up and go to work every day, you know and I don't have to do that, so I can sleep late if I wanted to. And I've tried to discipline myself to get up early, and or to get up at a normal decent time, and uh, not live like a vampire staying up all night. But I do tend to do that. I've always been a little bit of a night owl. Um, and I don't know what comes first. If being a night owl lends itself to being a musician, or being a musician turns you into a night owl because everything you do is in the evening. But it's easier for me to stay up late and to sleep during the day, whatever. But after the retreat, I was like sleeping a lot, and I'm still kind of in that mode. And I think maybe the medication has something to do with it. I don't know, but but I'm trying to get out of that mode a little bit, and sort of be more awake during the day and stitch during the day when I'm awake, and not stay up all night or whatever. But anyway, so now that I'm getting back, and I for Stitch Mania, um, I am thinking about either doing. I was thinking that I would spend 19 days working on one project, and I'm because I still have uh, several projects for the Stitch 9 challenge that I was going to do. I still have probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 still of the original 9 that I had thought set aside. See, the piano cat, the wolf, Eeyore and the bees, Daily Walk in the Woods. Those 4 at least. I don't know how many oh, because the penguin was one of them, and I finished that, the Christmas penguin. Sorry about that. So I might have just those 4 projects from the Stitch 9 challenge. So I was thinking about getting one of those and working on it nonstop for 19 days for Stitch Mania for 2019. I certainly I am not going to do like 19 new starts or 31 new starts or anything like that. But I have the ship designs waiting in the wings, and I still haven't dyed fabric for those, because I've had the whole Stitch Shenanigans thing coming on and all that. So, and I've been a little bit chicken about that, about pulling the trigger on dyeing that fabric. But so I could do those, those little ship projects. I think there's 4 total, because there's the Ronnie Rowe and the 2 other ones and the Christopher Columbus thing. So I think there's 4. And I could do do a week on each one for the month of May. I have to look at my calendar and look at those projects and see what's more feasible to do, because I do want to get them started, and May would be a great time to start them. And since April's almost over, and it's April 21st. Okay, so there's one more Sunday left in April after tomorrow. Because that's my niece's birthday. But so I have another week to think about, and then to think about Stitch Mania. But so I guess I'll decide for sure whether I'm gonna do, like I said, 19 days on one project, or the ships. I guess it depends on whether or not I get the fabric ready beforehand or not. Before get it ready in time to do those projects. Like I said, I'm a little chicken about that. It's my indecisive nature, I guess. Anyway, one thing I wanted to mention, I talked about the wedding sampler that I did for my sister and her husband, and it was 1992, I think, as my younger sister saw the video and corrected me. So I don't think I said my name at the beginning, but I shall say it now at the end. Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches. And I picked up a few subscribers since the retreat, so thank you very much for those of you who came on board, and welcome to any new viewers. Thank you again to my subscribers, and I think that's all we're going to talk about this week. So, if you have any input as to what I should do for a Stitch Mania, feel free to comment on it. But so I'm like I said, I'm deciding between those two options of 19 days on one of my whips, one of my existing whips, probably the wool for the piano cat, I think, because I haven't stitched on either one of those in a while. So 19 days on one of those projects, or the new starts with the ships, maybe one each week or something like that. I don't know. So anyway, those are my Stitch Mania options. I haven't decided quite yet. I have not quite decided. I can't speak English. Which one's what I'm going to do exactly. But I do want to do something for Stitch Mania. Just, what the heck? Why not? So I think that's it. Yeah. So, like I said, Happy Easter for those who celebrate. It's one of the best things that Christianity celebrates. And I will, yeah, that's it. I'll see y'all next week. Thanks. Bye.